Wednesday, so you know what that means. It is Mountain Hood Territory Live, and I'm doing one of my favorite things. I am wine tasting at the perennial pioneer of Oregon's awesome wine industry. We're live today at St. Joseph's Winery just outside of Canby, and I'm excited because it's the start of an awesome event season. We get to try some awesome wines. We're going to do something a little new. I'm joined by Carl. Carl here is a talented guy here and an expert in the wine industry, and honestly, this is a pleasure to be here because we've got some fun stuff to do today. So thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
So first, let's talk a little bit about the history. Because as I mentioned, St. Joseph's Winery is a pioneer in Oregon's wine industry. You guys have been open since, what, 83?
83 was the first legal vintage, and the vineyards were planted in 78.
So, I mean, we've got some good history here. The founder, Josef Fleischman, he is considered the pioneer, kind of the father of Oregon's wine industry. So explain how that all came about.
So Josef is my father-in-law, and Joe and Lily are German expats, and they met in the German community in Chicago. And they came out here to visit Lily's brother in Astoria. And they came out here in May after a very, very long winter in Chicago, and everything was green and the sun was shining, and they thought it was Shangri-La. And so Joe, being his grandfather had a winery in Hungary, he put a blind bid on this beautiful property outside of Canby. Because
wow, talk about a leap of faith.
So it had water, it had sloping hillsides, it had a place to grow some other things, and they said, wow, this is going to be great. So when I say a blind bid, he didn't tell Lily, he put the bid in.
Wow, that's brave right there.
So this was May, and then in October, he got a letter saying, hey, the farm is yours.
Wow.
And that's how it all started. And that was in the mid-60s.
Now, what is it about the soil, the climate, and everything here that makes this region of Oregon so hospitable for these certain types of wines that we're really becoming known for?
So Oregon has the fantastic soil. So this is a giant flood that happened in Montana a couple million years ago, sent all these alluvial soils into the Willamette Valley. This nice rich soil combined with some hillsides and cool weather, warm days, cool nights in the summer, creates a perfect grape growing season.
So thank you for Montana for all the soil back in the prehistoric times. That Missoula flood really helped us out there. For people who don't know much about the Oregon wine industry, we've got a few varietals that we're really known for that you guys, again, have really helped pioneer. So what are some of those standards that we have here? And then some of the things that you do differently that you don't find at every winery in Oregon?
So the big deal in Oregon is Pinot Noir. It's the hardest grape to grow and the hardest to make. Very small clusters. It gets sunburned, so that's why the Oregon summers are really, that's what put it on the map. And we do a couple other things. Joe is a big believer in diversity in the grapes, so he's also German, so we do a Gewürztraminer. We grow Shiraz. This is one of the oldest Shiraz vineyards in the Willamette Valley. And then we do some fun sparkling wines where we have champagne tanks, and they're named after Lily, who is the boss, and that's my mother-in-law.
And I noticed we've got a little medal here, so it kind of explained that. It looks like we've got a little accolades going to this.
So Oregon Wine Press is the industry newspaper in Oregon, and they selected our Lily Sparkling Syrah as one of their favorite sparkling wines. And it's gotten rave reviews, and we make a small amount every year, and fun, bubbly, perfect for the barbecue.
And I'll tell you what, I've had some of this stuff before. It is fantastic. We've got a couple people in our office as well who swear by this stuff. Every year they got to get several bottles because it's something worth truly experiencing. It's unique, fun, delicious, and like I said, fun for the barbecue. I like that. If you had to say, what is the one thing that truly sets you guys apart from some of the other wineries in Willamette Valley?
Well, we're one of the, as you alluded to, we're one of the first 30 wineries in Oregon, and we've remained small and family owned. Our kids are now the third generation here on the property.
Wow.
And our saying is we make good wines and have a fun time doing it. So we have a slew of events and a very open, hospitable tasting room.
He's talking about this guy. You're doing the perfect segue. I'm leaving because he's going to do the whole show himself now because this guy knows what he's doing. He's better than me at this. But we've got some really fun events coming up.
Right.
You've got the jazz event.
Correct.
Coming up March 11th, I think I saw. Talk a little bit about that one first.
That one I'm not aware of, but the first weekend.
Okay, I saw the poster, so I'm going to go that.
Oh, I
put him on the spot.
That is That is the Blues Festival.
Blues Festival. I'm sorry,
Milwaukee, which we have sponsored for many years. Good
Okay.
customers are involved, and one of our favorite acts, Ray Gordon, is playing.
Ray Gordon, she's awesome.
Yep.
But the really cool thing that I like, as you may know, if you're on our Facebook page, which you are because you're watching this, you saw our post. It's hard to believe right now, despite winter kind of seemingly endless. Spring is almost here, and that means tulips are on the way. You guys are actually pretty close to the Wooden Shoe Tulip Farm,
Right.
so you really kind of team up with the fact that spring is here, tulips here, and bring your own event that kind of ties in with that. So talk a little bit about that.
So we do an event, Red Lips and Tulips. So we're open every day in the month of April, and to kick it off, the first weekend in April, we do Gypsy Jazz and Hungarian Goulash.
And it's delicious.
And
it's
so
worth it.
Gypsy Jazz Band, some great, fun, funky violin, guitar, not sit in the corner, but this is lively music. And then homemade Hungarian goulash. So this is, the recipe starts with 50 pounds of onions, a side of beef, lots of paprika, and homemade from scratch.
I've had this stuff before, and it's absolutely amazing. I hadn't heard the description going into it, but it explains why it's just so awesome.
And it's a super event, and it's one of the weekends. We do 2 weekends a year where we do tours of the winery. You can go down with Josef or myself, tour through the winery, taste some wines as they're being made, and have a great time. And it's a really fun to have people come out and take a look at the other side of the business that they don't normally get to see.
And we have a beautiful tasting room here, and I'll have Molly pan around and show that off in a little bit. But you mentioned, the tours of the winery, and the grounds here are something special as well. There's a lot of love and effort and attention put into this beautiful tasting room, but the grounds themselves are just gorgeous as well. You can really feel that love and that attention to detail throughout. Talk about some of the fun things and what really makes these grounds so special.
Well, it started off as a 60-acre property, and now it's got about 40 acres of grapes. There's a beautiful pond. There's a creek going through it. You can catch some sturgeon and some bass in the pond if you wish. And then all around the property, there's another 100 acres of organic produce that the family also takes to market. And it's a little piece of heaven out in the middle of the country, and we like to be known as a little bit off the beaten path, and it's worth the extra 2 minutes off of I-5.
And it really is, and the grounds are so gorgeous, and especially you come out in the spring or summer, have a glass of wine, overlook the pond and the rolling hills. I think a piece of heaven, as you described it, is probably couldn't get more appropriate than that.
That's good. It's a perfect picnic spot. We've got a 3-tiered little amphitheater covered in roses that overlooks the pond, and you can check out our landscapers. We've got 7 goats and a couple of llamas that landscape the natural area down there, and we don't use pesticides or fertilizers. And so we've achieved a level of sustainability we've been awarded Salmon Safe and both Live certified for some of the efforts that we put in.
Talk a little bit about another great event that you guys are known for. This thing's a lot of fun, is the Grape Stomping Festival. That comes up, every May?
That is September.
September. I was way off. It's still January right now, right? I have no clue what's going on.
But for your bicycle people in May, we do a bike ride and barbecue.
That's the one I was thinking of. That's right. I knew there was something in May. I'm not completely pulling this stuff completely out of the thin air. Okay, talk about that event, and then we'll go talk about the Grape Stomp in September.
So, Mount Hood territory is very much into bicycle tourism. And one of our things is you get to take a bike ride through the rolling hills of the countryside, along the vineyards with one of the winemakers, and then come back and we have live music on the patio, brisket, barbecue, of course wine to taste, and a good afternoon. And for 7 years in a row, we've had a sprinkle-free Memorial Weekend. So
it's been a nice run. I like that. And again, as you said, cycling is an important part of the culture here in Mount Hood territory. So putting our wine culture, which is so prevalent here, and the cycling culture together, it's a fantastic event and a really great way to experience some of the best stuff here Mount Hood territory has to offer. But you can't talk about St. Joseph's Winery without talking about the Grape Stomp Festival, which is September, because I can't understand the calendar apparently. Talk about that a little bit.
So the Grape Stomping Festival started way back in '83 when Joe and Lily were just kicking it off. And they wanted to bring a little bit of the European harvest spirit to America. And harvest is a very busy time in a winery, and they wanted to kick it off right. And so what they did is they hired a small band, they got piles of grapes, and they invited people to come out and stomp, and it has just grown from there. So now we actually fly a band in from Bavaria every September, and we have tables and tents shipped over from Bavaria, and we'll draw about 1,000 people each day for our Grape Stomping Festival.
It's a ton of fun and something worth seeing. And especially shout out to Lizzie from our office who actually managed to win last year. So I don't know if she's got particularly large feet or something, but maybe it's just the energy that she does it with. But she won last year and said it's a blast.
It's good hokey fun. We have a 600-gallon barrel that they stomp grapes in. The food is, of course, our own recipe German sausages, so we make about 500 pounds every year.
And despite what you heard, German food is not the worst. Yes, that's a pun.
Ha!
All right. Every cast I have to do one pun, so there you go, folks. It's an absolutely amazing time, but again, we always got to come back to the wine. You guys put so much effort into that. We're actually going to slide down here a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about what we've got going on here, because, you know, wine has become such an industry in America, partially because we're kicking France's butt at it. But you can get a lot of stuff at a store which is very formulaic. It loses that heart and soul. And that is absolutely not the case here at St. Joseph's Winery. And a lot of the wineries here in Mountain Territory, because they're still small operations, family owned, and you can taste the love and the passion and the care that goes into each bottle. And that's kind of what's going on here. Is we're working on one type here, and you're trying to find the perfect blend.
That's correct. So we have in front of us some Gamay Noir. So Gamay Noir is a cousin of Pinot Noir. It's a little bit more fruit forward, a little bit more ruby colored. And this is meant to be a light, fun, picnic style wine versus the serious range of depth that a Pinot Noir has. So this is your quintessential, come to the winery, I want to have a nice glass of wine by the pond. This is our new favorite. This is our third vintage. And what we have here is, we have two different lots, two different picking days of Gamay Noir that we're blending. And we're trying to find what percentage of each of the lots we want to use. So I could go sit in my chemistry lab and try to figure out chemically which one people would like, or I can come up to the tasting room with you and we could just taste 5 variations and pick our favorite.
I like that choice a lot better.
This is way more fun.
Because it lets me try some wine, so you know that's
right.
Works.
And usually I try not to do too much of this in the morning because it kind of ruins the afternoon. But today it's okay.
Okay.
So this is lighter to heavier, and so if you wanted to taste through it,
so we start over here then.
You'd start over
okay.
here.
All right. So just do the normal, swirl, sniff, and kind of see what we get out of each one.
Yes.
It smells good from the start here.
And what I'm actually trying to work on here is just a little bit of the nose and a little bit of the depth of the color. And the two lots are a little different, and so we have different variations.
Well, it's a good start. I don't know how we're going to get better from here. That's definitely a good start. I like that. It's, you said not as serious as the Pinot Noir, and I get that. This kind of seems like a little lighter, a little bit more of kind of that relaxing day out there after maybe, working and watching the goats work on the lawn.
That's right. So Gamay is a little bit different. It's also, Gamay is illegal in parts of France. It was kicked out by Napoleon because
What a jerk.
He didn't like the fruitiness, and so the people in Burgundy kicked it out. But it is the most popular wine in France, and so now it's kind of has a new second life here in Oregon.
It's that whole rebellious thing.
That's right.
Okay.
So I would just take a little sip through.
Just go through.
Sure.
Okay.
I've just tasted through, so I know my favorites.
This one's a little more fruit on that one, I think. Or I don't know. I'm very bad at describing. I know what I like, but I don't know. I'm never good at describing things.
And that's what wine is all about.
Yeah.
Who cares what the writers say? Except for the writers out there.
Tell the ones who watch this. You guys are awesome. Thanks.
But it's really, we get when the Tulip Festival comes, we're busy, and people know wine or they don't know wine. But it's really just choose what you like and enjoy it. Our goal is to make wines that people can afford every day. So we're not charging $100 a bottle. Though if you want to pay $100, we're happy to sell it to you.
You can always tips welcome.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about kind of the feel of Oregon's wine industry, and especially here in Mountain Territory wineries, is you can go to some places where it's very serious about wine and people know things about wine. It's like, as long as you like it, who cares? There's too many rules in life. We don't need rules when it comes to wine. Just enjoy it. Ooh, right now I think that one's my favorite. That one's, it's got a little brightness on it at the end. It's just kind of zing. I like that.
Oh, good. See, we're getting there.
And he's probably like, no, you're wrong. That was the complete wrong one to go for.
No, it's all personal preference. So how the family does it is we'll get these samples out, and then the family will come in and weigh their opinions, and then it's a winner-take-all situation.
This one's got a little bit of a spiciness to it, or a bite, or something. I can't. Again, my vocabulary when it comes to describing wine is terrible, but that one's got a little bit of a.
Is that a good spice or a?
It is good. It is good. I know. I mean, it's a good. It's like I'm. These two. I'm torn between the final two.
You're an expert because those are my two favorite too.
I got something.
So
right about
it's gonna be somewhere in this range. And so now in the next day or two, I will take variations of these and do some other.
Well, if you need help with more taste experiments, just
do
give me a
some
call.
other
We'll come back
winery
out.
magic to make them get to fruition. And these will come out. This will be released during the Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So you can do the bike ride and brisket, or just come out and do the brisket, and then enjoy some Gamay Noir.
So then you can come out in May, try that, and look for the Jared approved Gamay Noir. It'll be on the label, I'm sure. Tell everybody how to find you, hours, and all that fun stuff.
So we are located between Canby and Aurora on Barlow Road. So we're, 15 minutes south of Oregon City, right off of Highway 99. Or if you're coming I-5, about 30 minutes from downtown Portland. Our hours, we're open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, year-round, noon to 5. And you're welcome to try to make an appointment during the week, but come see us on the weekends. Great facility, great staff. You'll always find somebody from the family in the tasting room.
Excuse me, sorry.
Until now, we have great spots to sit outside and enjoy a glass of wine and a picnic.
And then April, you guys are open every day, right?
And in April, tulip time, we're open every day, noon to 5.
And it's a perfect time to come out. April's beautiful out here. Carl, thanks for having us. This is awesome.
Thank you for coming out.
Guys, St. Joseph's Winery, definitely want to check this out. There's a reason they are one of the oldest wineries here in Oregon, family-owned, third generation. It's a great time, some fantastic wines. You're going to want to check it out. St. Joseph's Winery here just outside of Canby. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we'll see you next week as well. Same time, same place. Mountain Territory Live every Wednesday at noon. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us today at St. Joseph's Winery.